What's up, guys? Welcome to Double Chan News. It's Dan.
Hey, T.
And Michael will be back a little bit later this week. So we got another story of a Chinese tourist and tigers and wild animals. Luckily, she did not die, this lady, but it's still a very peculiar and interesting story.
Yes, so thankfully she's okay. This lady, she went with a tour group to Thailand.
Right.
They were at a zoo.
A tiger zoo.
A tiger zoo, yeah. I mean, Thailand's famous for its tigers.
Right.
And she basically wandered off on her own. And everyone thought she got mauled by a tiger and died.
Right, so she's with the tour group, right? And the surveillance camera shows her deliberately walking off. She's 36 years old. She's from mainland China. She's with a whole group. And basically, now the whole park is searching for her for 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about like, you gotta find this woman before one of these tigers find this woman, right?
Or even more morbidly, like you're trying to find her, so maybe she's already been eaten or something like that.
Yeah, more morbidly, yes.
Yes.
Especially because the biggest story this year out of in the wildlife park in China, where the woman and the mom both got mauled by tigers instantly.
Yeah.
When they stepped out of the car. So now you can imagine, like, people are more like, okay, we got to go find this woman.
They're worried.
They're worried. There's 400 Bengal tigers and over 1,000 crocodiles. She's got to look out for crocodiles too.
Dang.
So guess where they found her? Washing her clothes by the river or by the water. She's just chilling.
It was away from the park. And,
Right.
and they said that when she came to the tour, she was real depressed because she had
Yes.
recently gotten a divorce. She wasn't talking to anybody. She was really isolated.
Yeah.
And she basically kind of ignored the group a little bit and started wandering off on her own, which was kind of troubling to begin with. And and then one time she just wandered off and no one can find her, and this is basically what happened.
Right.
And then they found her quite a bit
4 kilometers away.
Yeah,
So
from the zoo. And they said that when they found her, they found out that she crossed the fence of the zoo into the wilderness.
She's straight up in the wilderness now. Well, I guess that's a little safer, right? Because the zoo is where all the concentration of crocodiles and tigers are.
Yeah, but there's no food. There's no shelter.
Yeah, she hasn't eaten.
She hasn't eaten, so she's like emaciated.
Yeah.
And then she's like completely like she's no energy and she's kind of dazed almost, like, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, especially like she's going through this traumatic divorce. That's why she's just did what she did.
Yeah.
So she's emotionally in distress. She's physically in distress. It's just crazy because, like, to me, it's like when you get that distressed, it's almost like you don't have logic anymore. Because what she did was extremely dangerous.
Yes.
And not responsible to herself. I mean, you leave a tour group in a wildlife park. I mean, come on, we know these. How many times a year do we have to hear people like children, even in zoos where children get, fall into the enclosures, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. I feel like in this kind of situation, she must have gone through a lot. When you look at these photos, she's really distraught. She's really sad, and I feel like when anyone's in a state like that, they can't really be held 100% accountable for their actions.
Right.
And in this case, I mean, it wasn't like she was hurting someone else. It was really she was hurting herself.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Mike and I, we actually, a while back when we started Double Chen Show, we would reply to a lot of people's questions about things like this, going through a breakup or parents going through a divorce. And, we talked a lot about how to get over something that is emotionally traumatic or stressful. And this would be a case where we say, first of all, don't be alone. Like, our first thing would be like, don't be alone. Surround yourself with friends and family. In this case, did she have friends with her, or she
seems to just be alone.
Right. So which a lot of people do. They're like, you know what? I need to take some time off for myself and go on an excursion. I would say not when you're like emotionally unstable.
The reason for that is because when you're really sad, you're not really thinking straight.
Right.
If you put yourself in a dangerous predicament, you wouldn't respond the way you normally do when you're in a normal emotional state. And that's why, like, right now, when she's really sad and distressed, she might not even think it was that dangerous to wander around the wildlife park by herself, or even cross the fence into the wilderness. She could have, if no one found her, she would have gone for days and days without food. She may have passed out. Something would have happened to her.
Yeah, she could have died.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily.
Yeah.
I mean, and also putting the entire, look at this photo. It says it all. I mean, you've got the entire park looking for this woman.
Entire park, yeah.
You know, and I can't imagine even what her family is thinking. I mean, if you hear woman gets lost in wildlife park or woman gets lost in Tiger Wildlife Park. I mean, I'm thinking the worst. I'm like, oh no.
Especially says goes missing for such and such hours.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was kind of random that she was washing clothes in the river though. Like
well, because she hasn't taken a shower in 2 days.
I suppose, yeah. She's washing her clothes, yeah.
You know?
I mean, at that point, you're just like, you're dehydrated. I mean, she might have drank from the river, I don't know, but she definitely hasn't eaten in a long time, not in the right state of mind. And she said that there were so many troubles at home, she didn't even want to go back to China.
That's the thing too, you know, like, and look, we're not criticizing this woman, and so many people go through things like this where you just want to run away from your problems rather than face them, and it's really hard to face them. I'm not saying like go home and face it, but you know, during those times when you're in this emotional distress period, you know, seek out friends, seek out the company of friends and other family that, you know, are there for you so that you don't have to be alone.
At the end of the day, no matter how hard it is, first of all, don't injure yourself. Like make sure that yourself is well protected, because only then can you face your challenges.
Right.
And it's almost like even if you run away from them, I mean, you're just putting yourself in a worse situation.
It is.
You know, like everything will be okay, but you have to be in the physical state to deal with it.
Right.
So when you get mauled by a tiger, it's probably not going to be good for you. More problems, you know?
Right.
So don't put, I would say in this kind of situation, try to actually protect yourself even more.
Right. And also I would say in the past we said, try to immerse yourself in something. Work is a good thing, right? A hobby, because the worst thing you want is just time where you're not in the right state of mind, so your brain is just going everywhere. And then if you're allowed just time to think about things, that sometimes it's not good. So you want to, you know, go to work, focus on something. I do understand taking time off, but in these cases,
I feel like people cope with things differently though. A lot of people are able to find solace when they have time alone.
Right.
But I feel like maybe this wasn't the case for this lady here, because she definitely went somewhere to seek time alone, but because of her situation, she just put herself in an even more dangerous situation.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to learn to know ourselves a little better and see how much we can handle and what is going to help us the most to recover from a traumatic situation.
Exactly. So luckily this story did not end like the other ones that this year horrifically.
Yeah.
She is okay. Hopefully she can work out all the stuff with her family and herself and be on a better path.
Yeah.
But guys, when you're in a wildlife park, just stick to, you know, whether you're going through something or not, just remember people,
stick to the group.
Stick to the rules, stick to the group. Do not think that you can, like, you know, be that, you know, whatever, I'll just open the car door or I'll just go off trail. Like, please.
Yeah, and I think that when you're facing something difficult and you want to recover, don't go to places that are like wildlife parks, by the ocean, by a cliff. Like, don't do that, because you're not thinking right at that point.
Yeah.
So please stay somewhere where it's relatively safe.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Go see a movie. Go invite a bunch of friends. Go see a movie. You know, go out for dinner.
Yeah, or else people will worry. People worry.
Exactly.
You know, look at how many people got involved and were worrying. So
exactly. So
please.
Thanks again for watching, guys. Let us know what you think about this story. See you later.
Bye.